The fight started over a damn stapler. Or at least, that's what everyone in the office thought. But anyone who'd been around long enough knew it wasn't about a stapler at all. It was about me and Ethan. Ethan was the golden boy, the type who always knew how to smile just right when the boss walked by. Expensive shoes, fake laugh, perfect hair. Everyone loved him. Except me. Because I knew what he really was: a liar, a manipulator, and a thief. We used to be friends back when I first started. He showed me the ropes, got me into the Friday night bar crowd, even helped me move once. But when promotions started floating around, everything changed. Suddenly, my ideas became his my projects his success stories. And when I finally called him out in front of the team, that's when the war began. It started subtle: missing files, emails I never sent, rumors that somehow traced back to my desk. Then came the small humiliations: wrong meeting times accidentally sent to my calendar, colleagues whispering when I walked by, management asking if I was feeling overwhelmed. He was sabotaging me, and he was doing it perfectly. One morning, I walked into the break room and found Ethan leaning against the counter, sipping coffee with that smug grin. "Rough week?" he asked, feigning concern. "Don't play innocent," I snapped. "I know what you're doing." He raised an eyebrow. "What's succeeding?" I wanted to hit him. Instead, I smiled. "Enjoy it while it lasts." He chuckled, set his mug down, and said, "Oh, I plan to." Then he leaned closer. "But you should really watch your tone in meetings. People are starting to notice." That was the moment I decided if he wanted a war, he was going to get one. I started collecting evidence. Every manipulated email, every changed file, every timestamp that didn't match up. I stayed late for weeks, alone in the dim office, printing out logs and cross-checking data. But the more I dug, the more I realized something worse. Ethan wasn't just sabotaging me for fun. He was covering something up. Late one night, I found a folder buried deep in the shared drive, labeled innocently as *Q4 expenses. Inside were forged invoices, thousands of dollars redirected to a fake vendor account. And guess whose signature was forged on the approval line? Mine. He wasn't just trying to ruin my reputation. He was setting me up for fraud. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, until I heard footsteps behind me. Late night, Ethan's voice, smooth, mocking. I didn't turn around. "What the hell is this?" I said, pointing at the screen. He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel his breath on my shoulder. "Careful," he whispered. "You don't want to dig too deep." I turned around slowly, and Ethan was standing there with that same confident smirk that made my blood boil. His tie was loose, his sleeves rolled up like he owned the place. Like he was untouchable. "You forged my signature," I said, my voice low but trembling. He tilted his head, pretending to think. That's a big accusation, Mark. You sure you want to make it?" My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from fury. "I have everything I need. The files, the logs, the word of a guy already under review for performance issues," he interrupted, grinning wider. "Come on, man. No one's going to believe you." For a moment I just stood there staring at him, realizing how carefully he'd built this web. Every rumor, every accident, every subtle jab, all to make me look unstable. Then he clapped me on the shoulder and said softly, "Just go home, Mark. You're in over your head." And he walked away. I didn't go home. I stayed until 3 a.m., printing, copying, emailing everything to a private drive. I wasn't going to be his fall guy. The next morning, I called HR and asked to file a formal report. The woman on the phone sounded nervous, like she already knew who I was talking about. "We'll schedule a meeting," she said. Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday. That was 5 days away. By noon, everyone in the office was whispering again. Ethan had somehow heard that I was making accusations. My manager pulled me aside, not to ask what was wrong, but to warn me. "Be careful," he said. "Ethan's very respected here. I'd hate to see you make a mistake you can't undo." It felt like the walls were closing in. That night I got home, dropped my bag on the floor, and froze. My laptop, the one I always left on my desk, was gone. I tore through the apartment like a madman. No sign of forced entry, no missing cash, no broken locks. Just my laptop, gone. The next morning I confronted building security. "You've got cameras, right? Check them. Someone broke into my apartment last night." The guard sighed, checked the logs, and shook his head. "No one came in after 8:30. Are you sure you didn't misplace it?" "Misplace it, right." By the time I got to work, Ethan was already there, standing by my desk, chatting with my boss. He looked up as I approached and smiled, my laptop open on the desk between them. "Hey, Mark," he said cheerfully. "I found your computer in the break room. Must have left it there last night." My boss frowned. "You've got to be more careful with company property." I wanted to scream, but instead I forced a smile and said, "Thanks for finding it." Ethan winked. "Any time." When I got home that night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark with my phone flashlight on, scrolling through the files on my laptop. Ethan had done something, I could feel it. I knew my folders too well to miss the changes. And sure enough, there it was. A new document hidden deep in my local storage. A fake spreadsheet showing fraudulent expenses, complete with my initials. It looked asterisk real. Too real. He'd broken in, planted the files, and now had a perfect story. Mark fabricated data to cover his own embezzlement. The next day, I went to it and asked for an audit. The guy there, Nick, frowned when I told him why. "That's serious, man," he said. "You know it'll alert upper management if I run this check." "Do it," I said, "please." He hesitated, then nodded. "All right, but if there's nothing there, you're on your own." I walked out of IT and saw Ethan watching me from across the hall. He smiled slowly and mouthed, "You're finished." That Friday, I was called into HR. The small conference room smelled like burnt coffee and disinfectant. Two people were there, the HR manager and Ethan. He looked calm, almost bored as I sat down. "Mark," the HR rep began, "we've received some concerning reports regarding falsified documents connected to your account." My heart started pounding. "That's not true." Ethan leaned forward, cutting me off. I really didn't want to say anything, but I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I found multiple files showing altered invoices under Mark's name. I even brought one of the backups. He slid a flash drive across the table. My stomach dropped. I recognized it, my own flash drive. The one I kept at home. I looked at him, and for the first time I saw something cold and empty in his eyes. This wasn't about rivalry anymore. It was about asterisk destruction. That night I sat in my car outside the office for hours. Rain tapped against the windshield, blurring the streetlights into soft halos. I couldn't go home. I couldn't think. My job was my life, and Ethan had just ripped it apart. Finally, I pulled out my phone and called the only person I trusted, Nick from IT. He picked up groggy. "Mark, you okay?" "No," I said quietly. "I need your help. Please tell me you ran that audit." There was a long silence. Then he said, "Yeah, and you were right." "What?" "Someone accessed your files remotely last night. The activity was masked under admin credentials, but I traced the IP. It's Ethan's." For a moment I couldn't breathe. Nick continued, "I can't officially report this, I'll get fired, but I'll send you the logs. You need to protect yourself, man." I hung up and stared at my reflection in the rain-streaked glass. Ethan thought he'd won. He had no idea what was coming next. The next morning I walked into the office calm. Too calm. Ethan noticed it instantly. He was leaning against the reception desk, laughing with someone from accounting. When he saw me, his smile faltered just a bit, like a shark that sensed something wrong in the water. "Morning," he said. "You ready for round two?" "Actually," I said, meeting his eyes, "I am." I walked straight to my manager's office, shut the door behind me, and dropped a flash drive on the desk. "That's everything," I said. "It logs, time-stamped entries, remote access records, all pointing to Ethan using admin credentials to tamper with files on multiple systems." My manager frowned, clearly unsure what to believe. "That's a serious accusation." "It's not an accusation," I said, "it's proof." He plugged it in, started reading, and for the first time his expression changed. He looked up, eyes wide. "Jesus Christ. If this is real, "It's real," I said, "and I'm done letting him bury me." That same afternoon, HR called both of us in again. The tension in that room was thick enough to choke on. Ethan looked composed, but there was a flicker of something else, uncertainty. "Ethan," the HR manager said slowly, "we reviewed additional data provided by Mark this morning. It seems there are serious discrepancies involving your account access." Ethan's smirk faded. "That's ridiculous. Anyone could have faked that." "Except the logs came from internal IT verification," she replied. "And the timestamps align with when you reported Mark's alleged misconduct." I didn't say a word, I just watched. For once he was the one sweating. He turned to me, eyes sharp. "You think this changes anything? You think they'll believe you after all that chaos you caused?" I met his gaze and said, "They already do." For the first time since this started, Ethan had no comeback. By the end of the week, the company launched a full internal investigation. Ethan was suspended pending review. People started whispering again, but this time not about *me. One by one, coworkers approached my desk, awkwardly apologizing. "Didn't realize what was really going on, man. He fooled all of us. You handled it better than I would have." It didn't feel like victory. It felt hollow. Because no matter how clean my record was now, the months of stress, paranoia, and humiliation had already taken their toll. That night I stayed late, watching the office empty. For the first time in forever, it was quiet, just the hum of fluorescent lights and the distant sound of the elevator. As I packed my things, I saw something wedged under my keyboard. A folded note. No name. I unfolded it slowly. Just 5 words. "You think this is over?" My stomach dropped. The handwriting was familiar, all sharp angles and perfect loops. Ethan's. I looked around the empty office, half expecting him to appear from one of the cubicles, grinning like the devil. But the place was dead quiet. Only the flickering fluorescent lights hummed above me. I reread the note again, my hands trembling. "You think this is over?" It wasn't a threat, it was a promise. I shoved the paper in my pocket and left the building, scanning every car in the lot as I walked to mine. It felt like someone was watching. Every sound, the crunch of gravel, the hiss of the streetlights, made me flinch. That night I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his smirk, his confidence, the way he leaned in close and whispered, "Careful." Ethan was suspended, but somehow I knew he wasn't done with me. A week passed. I tried to focus on work, to move on, but the tension never left. I started noticing small things: my car door slightly open when I was sure I'd locked it, my mailbox left ajar, my computer mouse nudged an inch to the side. Then one evening I came home and saw a flash drive taped to my apartment door. No note this time, just a single black USB stick. My first instinct was to call the police, but curiosity won. I plugged it into an old laptop I didn't use anymore. There was only one file on it, a video. It showed me, sitting at my desk in the office, working late. Recorded from the hallway security camera, except this wasn't from company archives. The angle was slightly different, almost like someone had filmed it with a hidden device. And halfway through the clip, a figure appeared in the reflection behind me. Ethan. Watching. I slammed the laptop shut and felt my chest tighten. I called HR, told them what happened, begged them to confirm where Ethan was. The woman on the line sounded shaken. "He's not supposed to be anywhere near the building," she said. "His access was revoked." "Then how did he get that footage?" I asked. She hesitated. I don't know." The next morning, security checked the premises. No forced entry, no sign of Ethan. But the IT department found something disturbing. Someone had been remotely accessing the office's internal cameras for weeks, from an untraceable IP. Nick, the IT guy, pulled me aside later that day. "Whoever it is, they're still watching," he whispered. "And Mark, it's not just your workstation. It's your *home address that's showing up in the logs too." I stared at him in disbelief. "You're saying he's been?" Nick nodded grimly. "Yeah, he's watching you." That night I unplugged everything: router, TV, even my phone charger. Every dark corner of the apartment suddenly felt alive, like something was waiting just beyond the edge of the light. I taped over the laptop camera, shoved a chair under the door handle and sat there in silence, listening to the hum of the refrigerator. Around 2 a.m. I heard a sound, 3 soft knocks. Not from the hallway, from my asterisk balcony. I froze. My apartment was on the 4th floor. There was no way someone could be out there unless they'd climbed up. I tiptoed closer, heart hammering, and peeked through the curtains. The balcony was empty, but there, pressed against the glass, was something small, a Polaroid photo. I pulled it inside with shaking hands. The picture showed me, sitting at my kitchen table the night before, in my pajamas, laptop open, coffee mug beside me, the blinds wide open. At the bottom of the photo, scrawled in that same precise handwriting, "You really should lock your windows." I called the police immediately. 2 officers came, took the photo, asked a few questions, and left with the usual line, "We'll look into it." I could tell by their tone they didn't believe me. To them, it was just some office feud gone weird. The next morning, I went straight to HR, photocopy in hand. They called corporate security, reviewed Ethan's suspension record, and that's when things got even stranger. "There's a note here," the HR manager said, frowning. "It says Ethan requested a meeting with us last Monday, but it was canceled because of a medical emergency." "What emergency?" I asked. She scrolled down the file. Her expression changed, pale, confused. "It says here he was admitted to a private clinic for psychiatric evaluation." I blinked. "He's in a hospital," she nodded slowly. "Has been for over a week." My hands went cold. "Then who's been watching me?" That question haunted me the rest of the day. I couldn't work, couldn't eat. The logical part of my brain screamed that it had to be a mistake. Maybe someone else was copying Ethan's methods. But deep down, I knew. That night I got another email. No sender address. No subject line. Just an attachment named asterisk asterisk Miss Mimov. My gut told me not to open it, but I did. It was another video shot through my apartment window. Me sleeping on the couch. The camera zoomed in slowly, almost lovingly. Then a faint whisper, barely audible through the static. "You shouldn't have taken my job." I slammed the laptop shut and stumbled backward. My phone buzzed, an unknown number calling. I hesitated, then answered. Silence, then breathing. And finally that same voice, calm and deliberate. "Didn't I tell you it wasn't over?" I dropped the phone. It clattered against the floor, still glowing, still connected, but the line had gone dead. I stood there, heart pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. My apartment felt suddenly smaller, every sound amplified, the ticking clock, the hum of the streetlights outside, the faint creak of the floorboards. It didn't make sense. Ethan was in a psychiatric facility. I'd seen the paperwork, the timestamps, the HR logs. He couldn't be here. But the voice, that low, composed, unnervingly confident voice, it was him. I called the hospital the next morning. After being transferred twice, a tired-sounding nurse picked up. "Yes, Ethan Cole is a patient here," she confirmed. "But he's currently under observation." "What do you mean?" I asked. "Confidential," she said quickly. "But he hasn't had any outside communication privileges since admission." My mind reeled. If that was true, then who the hell was calling me? I didn't notice the envelope under my door until I came home that night. No stamp, no name, just a single sheet of paper inside. It read, "If you want this to stop, come to where it started." The office building was dark when I arrived. It was past midnight. Every instinct in me screamed to turn around, but I couldn't. I had to know. The doors were unlocked. My footsteps echoed down the empty hallway as I made my way toward my old desk. Everything looked the same except for one thing. Ethan's desk light was on. There was a laptop open on it, a video paused mid-frame. I stepped closer and felt my blood run cold. It was a live feed of asterisk me, standing right there, watching the screen. A soft click behind me. The door closing. I turned slowly. A shadow stood in the doorway, tall, still, familiar. "Hello, Mark," the voice said quietly. It was Ethan, pale, gaunt, eyes hollow, but smiling that same perfect smile. You shouldn't have taken what was mine, he said, stepping closer. The job, the credit, the life. I backed away, heart hammering. You need help, I stammered. You, he interrupted, whispering, I already got help. They taught me how to finish things properly. And then the lights went out. The next morning, the building security found my car still in the lot, keys on the seat, phone on the dashboard. But no one ever found me.